Hello guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. I am always excited to have you back here again. To new subscribers, to my returning subscribers, thank you very much. My name is Greta and I am in Nigeria, currently living in Canada as a permanent resident. So here I share my experiences and immigration stories, and also I talk about life here in Canada. Thank you, and I hope you stay tuned to the end of this video. So like the title already suggests, in today's video I'll be talking about the trades category based draw, which is one of the 6 category based draws that the Canadian government has been putting attention on as regards the express entry program. On this channel I have a video on the healthcare category based draw, the STEM category based draw, the agri and the transport category based draws. I think it's just a trade. I've not really done a comprehensive video on it. I just wanted to quickly touch base on it today. It's kind of somewhat linked to the Federal Skilled Trade Program, which is one of the 3 main programs that the Canadian government runs under the Express Entry platform. So we have the Federal Skilled Worker Program, which is what I use. We have the Canadian Experience class for those with Canadian experience, and you also have the Federal Skilled Trade Program. So now, for let me just quickly run through the Federal Skilled Trade Program and what it entails before we come over to the trades category based draw. Now, the Federal Skilled Trade Program is kind of geared towards strengthening the skilled trade workforce of the Canadian society, if I can say that, and it targets skilled workers that are proficient in their trade. We have different trades like cook, bakers, tailors, carpenters, plumbers, electricians, what have you. If you go to the IRCC website, you would see like a comprehensive list of the trades that the Canadian government covers or targets under the Federal Skilled Trades Program. Now, basically, like I've said, consider specialized trade abilities, practical work background, and also proficiency in any of the Canadian languages, which is the English and the French language. For you to be able to maybe get invited under the trade category based program, you must have an express entry account which is targeted or which is under the Federal Skills Trade Program. Just like you have the healthcare draws and the STEM draws, the agri draws, which requires you to have a profile, an express entry profile under the Federal Skilled Workers Program. So also the trade category draw requires one to have an express entry profile under the Federal Skilled Trade Program. Yeah, so for you to be able to open an express entry profile under the skilled based program, you mustn't need they don't really require you to have like an education, but that's like an added advantage if you had that, but it's not like it's really required. But you must have like a high school degree, which is SSC, as we know in West Africa. Then they require you to have 2 years of full-time work experience or maybe part-time work experience, the equivalent of 2 years under 5 years. So in the space of 5 years, you'll be required to have 2 years of full-time or part-time equivalent work experience in one of the eligible trade occupations. You'll also be required to have the job requirements for any of the occupation. For the occupation you will be choosing, you'll be required to have the job requirements. Like, this is what this person should be doing under this job. This is what this person should be doing. This is what this job requires. You'll ensure that what you do is part of the requirement. You'll be required to have language, any of the languages like English or the French, if you're proficient in French or if you're a French speaker. And one good thing about this is that you mustn't have the same CLB that someone that wants to go for the Federal Skilled Worker Program would target or would be required to have. So you're required to have CLB 5 for speaking and listening, and then CLB 4 for reading and writing. And also you'll be required to have paid work experience, not volunteer, not internship, but paid work experience, which you will prove. Then you'll also be required to have a certificate of completion. These are the requirements that are needed for you to be able to open an Express Entry account under the Federal Skilled Trade Worker Program, not the Federal Skilled Worker, Federal Skilled Trade. So they target trades, not workers like professionals. So now this leads me to the trade category based draws. Now, if you've watched the video I made on the category based draws, I talked about how in order for the Canadian government to have like skills, or to have people that specialize in particular areas that they have interest in, they decided to create different categories, different from the general Express Entry draw. So you have the 6 categories, and that I mentioned in that video: the healthcare, STEM, agri, trade, and transport, and French. So for trade, just because they didn't just want the people with these specialized trades to just be lost under the general draws, they decided to create a category for them, just so that if they require these people, they go into the poll and they select these people that have the requirements that they have. Now, you have specific NOCs or specific occupations. Let me use a simplified word. You have specific occupations that are under this trade category based program. Guys, before we continue with this video, please, I just want to take some few seconds to encourage you to subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed. Thank you very much. Now let's continue. So while you have different trades under the Federal Skilled Trades Program, these particular trades have been selected from the general NOCs for the trades program to be represented under the trade category based draws. So if they are doing like a huge or like a high, if they are doing like a high score for the general program, this category based trade program would have a low score. That's one good thing about the category based program. So we run through the different occupations that are listed under the trades category based draws. If you see me looking down, that is what I'm trying to read out. I'm sorry, I just noticed that my microphone fell off, and you might just, before this point, you might hear like muffled sounds just because I didn't notice it fell off from the attachment. So guys, let's quickly talk about the occupations that are listed under the trades category based draw. You have carpenters, electricians, except industrial and power system. Now these are very important. Like when you have except, they really when you have exclusions like this, please take note of them. Don't be, if you have experience in this field and you want to base your application on it, and maybe you get invited, or you might not even get invited, and you'll be wondering why. Or probably you get invited and you apply and they find out that this is what you have, you might be rejected. So take note of the exclusions: electricians, except industrial and power systems. You have plumbers, welders and related machine operators, automotive service technicians, truck and bus mechanics and mechanical repairers, construction trades, helpers and laborers, heavy duty equipment mechanics, machinists and machining and tooling inspectors. That's one. Sheet metal workers, iron workers, electrical power line and cable workers, steam fitters, pipe fitters and sprinkler system installers, construction millwrights and industrial mechanics, bricklayers, roofers and shinglers, crane operators, gas fitters. These are the occupations that fall under the trade category based draws. Now, like I would always advise, when you hear about these occupations or when you see these occupations, go back to the IRCC website, go and search for the NOC code and see the inclusions and the exclusions. Like When I mean inclusions, they would usually include other job titles that fall under these particular occupations, and they would exclude job titles too that do not fall under this, that people should not, people that in those that have those job titles should not even bother applying. Just to give yourself that extra advantage, go and take a deeper or a closer look. Go and take a closer look at the inclusions as regards job titles and the exclusions. Now guys, for one to qualify for this trade category based jobs, peradventure a draw is done, what are the requirements? So for one to be to qualify under this trade category based jobs, the very first requirement would be that you must have an express entry profile under the you must have an express entry profile under the Federal Skilled Trades Program. Second requirement would be you having at least 6 months experience in the NOC you want to base your application on. So if you feel that one of the NOCs in this trade category based jobs is what you do, or you have experience there, ensure that you have at least 6 months of experience. You could have experience in other trade occupations, or maybe a full-time job, but having at least 6 months in any occupation, any NOC you want to base your application on under the trades category based job is very important. It's very important you have at least 6 months of experience. Then the next requirement would be having language. Of course, they need you to have, because your language of course at this time be linked to the express entry profile you would have created. Another thing is that please ensure that the experience you have is a paid work experience, not a volunteer, not internship, but paid work experience, and you will need reference, like credible reference. Then one very important thing you would need to have would be certification. Maybe a certification like a 1-year program, or a 1-year program in school, in an institution, or maybe a trades program, just to prove that you've undergone training in that program. Then you will need a certification, like a government issued certification, to prove that you really have experience in that aspect. Note that there are some provinces here in Canada that would require you to have their own issued certification from those provinces. If you're targeting any province, for that one you would have to go make research to see what any province of your choice would require you to have a certification for that field you would want to target. Now, as I've said, you will need like a certificate of completion of program form issued by any government. Then you will need proof of fund. If you are within Canada, you will not be required to have proof of fund. Probably you have a job, you'll be required to have 1 year job experience if you're within Canada. But if you're outside Canada, it will require you to have proof of fund for you to prove that if you're coming alone or coming with your family members, you would have enough money to take care of them before you settle down and get a job. Since the inception of the category-based draws, we started in July of 2023, they have done so far 2 trade draws. The first one was done on the 3rd of August 2023, and 1,500 people were invited and the score was 388. The second one was done in December 19th of 2023. The score was 425 and 1,000 people were invited. So far this year, they have not done any trade category based job, but they have done others like the STEM, agri, transport, healthcare, they've done a lot of healthcare, and also French category based jobs. But that's not to say that they will not do the trade category based job. They would surely do it. You know, with the IRCC, they don't give a timeline like this is when we're doing it. It just comes boom, and you see that they've done a draw in a particular category. So if you have experience in this, or if you have someone that has experience and the person is looking at going into it, it's best the person gets ready, get everything ready, get the application in, and while you wait to see when the draw can be made. Remember, having a university degree is not really important, but if you have it, it gives you an extra advantage. All you just need to do is to evaluate it with World Education Services, which is otherwise known as WES, and then you add it to your application. Trust me, that gives you an added advantage and increases your score. One good thing about the trade category based JOY is that no matter how high it gets, I don't think you can get above 450 or thereabout. This is not just like it's not a fact, it's just my assumption. I could be wrong, I could be right. So take advantage of this. If you have experience in any of this job in any of these job classifications, or if you know anyone that is interested and is a very good trades person, because the trade occupations are really high in demand here. You don't want to know how much plumbers charge, how much electricians charge, and other trades that the Canadian government is interested in bringing to Canada. It's a big deal here. You see, handwork makes money here. Trust me, not just hearsay. I have experienced it. Another thing I also want to consider is getting a job in any of the trades occupation. Yeah, I've known of people that got job offers in one or two trade occupations, and that brought them to Canada. So you might want to look into that. Look at the trade occupations on the IRCC website and see which one, and also go to the job bank to see what jobs are available, what experience you have, and get trained, get certified, get government issued certification, guys. That really helps a whole lot. So guys, thank you so much for staying to the end of this video. You can share to as many people you know will be interested in it. Please do not forget to like, please, Ejo, Pico, s'il vous plaît. Do not forget to like, share, and please subscribe. Let the subscriber count keep increasing. Thank you, and until the next time, bye bye.